poetry.
Blah talk, this is the blah talk.
Alim El-Bey dropping jewels every day.
Blah talk, this is the blah talk.
Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual.
Blah talk, this is the blah talk.
Alim El-Bey dropping jewels every day.
Blah talk, this is the blah talk.
Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. So you claim to be a god?
Damn right I'm a god. The maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, god of the universe. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that.
So tune in or lose, friend. All strategies applied mathematically. The information he drop is real powerful. So get your notepad, it's more than an hour full. Watch your jaw, the crew is watch us all. Indigenous to the land wherever we stand. First world order, we bringing it home in the first quarter. Invisible lines don't apply, we cross borders. Silly rabbit, knowledge for gods. No matter where you reside, Lodge, Temple of Mars. So don't fret or proceed with hesitation. Just tune in to Blog Talk to get the information. Peace. Whether you suffer from pain in your back to aches in your knees, come on down and purchase you some ancestral tea to get rid of all the parasites, toxins, and fleas. Spiritual elevation for cosmic gravitation. So put away the patience, cause there's no time to be wasted.
Ancestral tea, that's all you need. Ancestral tea,
So you better believe,
ancestral tea,
and it works for real.
ancestral tea,
So put away your pills,
ancestral tea,
that's all you need.
ancestral tea,
So you better believe,
ancestral tea,
and it works for real.
ancestral tea.
So put away your pills. This is a public commercial advertisement for AncestralTees.com. All rights are reserved. Peace.
First World Order Radio, finally, we are on the air. No doubt. All right.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio.
We get on into some of that order consciousness tonight.
First World Order Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
We got to talk about what is taking place on the planet.
There's always going to be somebody in the building on First World Order Radio. First, we need to let you know we're going to be doing more shows, giving out more information on Wednesdays. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we are now going to make this the hottest day of the week.
Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns in existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it. Preceding others in time, order, importance. The most prominent parts, voices, or instruments. Earthly state of human concerns in existence. An indefinite multitude, quantity, or distance. System regulates to bring about specifics in the root based on value and natural characteristics. Current radiates electromagnetistics of sound through the air, same as your thoughts transmits it.
You need to understand how magical this, something like this every Wednesday can become. So you need to start getting your calendar right, get your schedule right. You need to know our intention straight out.
All right, so, these clues are given throughout the various languages was to piece the puzzle of this ancient mystery school back together again.
And what we plan on doing, both of us, is bringing y'all some surefire dynamite. We're going to take this level up a notch. We're going to have stuff to do here. This is not just going to be about philosophies and theories, shit that works.
You have an activated pineal gland in which that produced this black chemical called melanin.
What we did was gave a hard esoteric study and exoteric study. Playtime is over.
I don't need to be a dope boy, my poetry is dope enough. Trapping interstellar while my third eye open up. See through all the lies that y'all telling with a straight face. We turn of the luminous ones. Y'all better make way to find a chapter. Find a collapse on all you politicians. They politicking how to lead a world, no pot to piss in. The way I think is more deep and in the Grand Canyon. I guarantee this black man would be the man standing. My premonition matched the OMAC calendar. It's always accurate like a lightweight challenger. For all you wicked witches and the Wizard of Oz, you and that man behind the curtain, yeah, y'all fixing to fall. Only a matter of time before shit hit the fan. Here's an idiot's guide for you on how to get a man. I don't need a bunch of homers to ride or die with me. I could call on Hey Roo to fly the skies with me. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. When I'm riding on this city streets, never really miss a beat. To the point of no return, unless I turn another cheek. Catch me on my daily vibe, smooth as I wanna be. Just being me, never chilling with the wannabes. God in the flesh, dated bad sister latches. Because my history is more than they can understand it. My melanated skin, star brush from the astro. I'm made of dark energy created from black holes. No thyself, the only one you can lean on. I got some scoop that y'all can break y'all weed on. Our here's Martin Luther King and slave ships. But what about the underwater cities and spaceships? My mystical mind, we had the government covering. But if the OMAD temple fly away like a mothership, where African people wear the real Anunnaki, wearing feathers on their heads, just a few feet taller than me. Through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. Yo, don't look at me the same, I ain't nothing like I used to be. Upgraded daily through the lies and all the foolery. My dream became lucid, I travel back in time, collecting life data from my subconscious mind. That father let me know that anything is possible by pulling down the universe through my crown chakra. Manipulate the energy is all an illusion. Knowing who you are kills all the confusion. Why 85% judge off my appearance? I use alchemy to create the world potential. My lyrics turn divas right back into queens. Why dope boys will think twice appearing back on the scene. Everybody gone mad, blaming media outlet. The new black Hollywood chosen straight out of projects. Homo agenda war, sucking up to the master. While the whole community going up in disaster. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my angel time to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. His birth. His birth.
Peace. Back once again, your host, Dr. Alim El-Bey. First World Order Radio. No doubt we are back. Finally. All right, before we begin tonight's topic, as you know, we're going to be getting to conspiracies or natural causes, dealing with the recent deaths of major stars, people that we may have seen in concert, that we known in some shape, form, or fashion, because there's only 6 degrees of separation. All right, but before we do that, let me bring on my co-host, Brother Fahim Mel. Are you here? Grand shit.
Hey, Ate, Washita East.
Hey, Ate, Washita. Ish. Chief, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, brother. Great, God. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. All right.
Good to hear your voice tonight.
Appreciate that. Glad to hear yours. All right. So
we
know about the recent deaths of Prince, Vanity, AFENI Shakur, Dr. Francis Quest Welsing, Natalie Cole, Dr. Deborah BLAIR, Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire, Phife Dawg of Tribe Called Quest. Are these just alignments, or these are natural causes, or is this conspiracy? Based on the Illuminati, as most have been stating on quote unquote YouTube. So we're gonna get into that tonight. But before I do that, Brother Fahim, give me your take on these particular paths and forms of these great people here.
Well, dealing with the recently transition of Prince, I've been hearing a lot of things about, he died a sudden death, but they said he was sick for a while, But he's one of these people that says the show must go on, regardless of how sick he is. Some people are saying that some doctors came to see him at his home. Some say that he was taken to his home by the paramedics. Then he died. All kind of stories coming up, And I noticed that I've heard that he was saying some things about dealing. He was singing in certain subliminal messages and allegory and things like that about conscious subjects, and something that he didn't usually do in the past, but now he did it more, to his recent death, So, so this is maybe something like Michael Jackson thing, So. This is what the message I've been getting.
Right. Anything else that you heard about as far as, because Vanity passed like almost 3 months ago, in February. That used to be his girlfriend, and they both passed at the age of 57. Don't think that was coincidence per se.
Right.
What's your take on all of that also?
I heard things about her turning her life toward God, and she got more religious. She had joined church, and she wasn't doing. If you notice, she wasn't doing that on the scene for a while. With Prince or anybody, wasn't doing anything, for some years. All of a sudden she winds up dead. I didn't know she was even sick. So I don't know, but that could be tied together.
Right. Well, what we found out is that she was battling kidney failure, some type of abdominal illness, small intestines, in which that some type of sclerosis, which is some type of blockage in the small bowels, small intestines. At least, at least this is what it was said, and, allegedly, her health, worsened, in those recent months, 4 months before they launched a GoFundMe campaign to pay for the medical bills. And she asked for like $50,000, but raised actually less than $7,000. So it seemed that, people didn't even, know who she was, in that regard, So, that's the sad thing about it. And then, you get all these people coming on afterwards, like Berry Gordy. I just can't believe Vanity is gone. She's such a vibrant, human being. Working with her,
Where was he when she needed them funds, though?
Exactly. That's my point. That's exactly my point. And then I don't think it's coincidence that Prince passed. Here it is. Just 2 months later. As a matter of fact, Vanity passed. I think it was February the 15th.
Something like that.
Fremont, California, at the age of 57, and Prince passed April the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
2 days after my born day, allegedly, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Actually, it's Chanhassen, Minneapolis. So, allegedly he passed in the elevator. Now, even L.A. Reid got on TV, and he was interviewed, I think it was by CBS Morning, and he said he thought that was odd because Prince told him personally on one-on-one conversation that the elevator was the devil. And then in the song, don't let the elevator break us down. Oh no. In one of Prince's songs, he spoke about that. So for him to die in the elevator, was one of the odd things that even L.A. Reid picked out, and told the media. I had a conversation with Baba Phil Valentine last week, and it's possible that Prince faked his death just like Michael did. He said Michael was in Dubai, in which that Michael did spend a lot of time in Dubai before he returned to the United States years ago. But we come to find out that Prince could have also faked his death based on the fact of those particular said coincidences. We know that he just recently got back control of his masters. This musical genius got back his masters. We know that he was dealing with some type of conscious information, like you said, because he wore the eye of Heru on his hand, and then he placed it over his heart, which is very similar to the eye within Moorish information being Allah, and then we do the fidelity sign over the heart,
right?
Symbolizing love. According to the press, they released that the Carver County Sheriff Department deputies arrived at the Paisley Park area around 9:43 a.m. that morning and found Prince unresponsive in the elevator. And then allegedly after CPR attempts were unsuccessful, he was pronounced dead at 10:07 a.m. And then they claimed that the cause of death was still in the investigation, but now they're saying that he had he'd been battling with a bad case of the flu.
Right.
That was TMZ, and that he was hospitalized last, that week prior to, after his plane was forced to make an emergency stop in Moline, Illinois. But what we found out about that is that when you read, we was walking in the line in the grocery store, and my wife and I, and we saw the National Enquirer in which that stated that Prince had AIDS. Yeah, and that's what that was related to. However, when the autopsy comes back, or allegedly the autopsy comes back, they claim that he had drugs in the system. That there was supposedly, now understand that Prince actually got cremated. So I don't know when they did an actual autopsy, but allegedly he got cremated, which that's kind of odd in some sense,
Yeah, it is.
being that he was a Jehovah's Witness.
But they don't believe in that.
Well, that's what it said, right? We also know that Prince was dealing with third eye information because he wore shades, in which that was over the two eyes, but then he had one shade up over his third eye. So he was studying much more than just Jehovah's Witness. Jehovah's Witness was obviously his foundation, but he took it much further in his research and study, just like Michael Jackson did. Allegedly Michael even converted and had his Shahada, which means to bear witness, in Islam. His brother Jermaine was already a Muslim and was affiliated with the Nation of Islam in some fashion. And then, of course, we see Michael being guarded by members during that trial, that last trial, when he was walking around in his pajamas. Dr. Sabi was treating him at that time. And, we find out that, he was ill, during that time period, and so Dr. Sabi was there in order to help, resurrect him and bring him back into health. Dr. Sabi spoke on this before, that, his melanin was so far gone in that sense, that, he just had to, start him on, Pacific herbs and a diet, specifically with a whole lot of greens, chlorophyll, which is one of the closest things to melanin, as there's only one magnesium molecule difference.
How do you lose so much melanin?
Allegedly, he had vitiligo, which is a form of leprosy. At least that's what it used to be called years ago. But this vitiligo is what he supposedly have had. But remember, he also had billions and billions and billions of dollars. Dick Gregory spoke about this, that he owned the masters of many stars, Boys to Men. He gave he had Little Richard, but Little Richard, he gave Little Richard his masters. He had, of course, Elvis at one time. He had the Beatles. He had quite a few people. Matter of fact, he owned 51% of Sony at one time. And Michael tells the story about his encounters with the former wife of Tommy Mottola, who was the head of Sony, who was Mariah Carey, that she would come and cry on his arms, on his arm, and he would hug her. Right, and he would hug her and try to make her feel better. So I guess one of the ways in order to make her feel better was actually doing this, to him. As far as gaining control, of Sony, and also he had control of, these particular masters of these major stars, And that was very phenomenal, because that means that Michael Jackson was a very shrewd businessman.
Yes, he was.
And that's what they don't really want to talk about. That he was able to pull that off.
That could be part of the reasons why, maybe let him know had an early death.
Well, that's what is alleged, or did he just bounce because they find out that recently he just the family just sold that portion back to Sony for $750 million.
Mm.
So that's nearly almost $1 billion. You know, Paul McCartney was the one who actually told Michael the importance of owning publishing. You know, and next thing you know, Michael controlled the Beatles collection.
Yes, he did.
You know,
he was a pretty shrewd businessman.
Right.
And that's a part of Michael Jackson you hardly ever hear about.
Indeed. You know, and I'm only bringing him up because he's one of the great stars that recently passed too. You know, it was it was around 2009. You know, but still, you know, we have to speak about him. You know, and when that happened, you know, I remember, that there was a deal. I think it was Universal Music Group. And I think the publishing cost like $1.9 billion to $2.2 billion dollars. And part of that deal, he controlled. He controlled that deal. And even afterwards, when it was turned over to the family, to the estate, which was actually controlled by Catherine, his mother, allegedly, and now they just sold it for that $750 million. I think that was on the low end. Personally, I think it actually was in the billions. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, between probably because it was worth almost $2.2 billion. If not more.
That's a lot of notes.
Right. So remember, I think it was 2002, Forbes magazine estimated that Jackson's 50% stake in the company, and then later on he says that he owned 51%. So he owned more than even Tommy Mottola did, along with other music publishing ventures. They said it was worth about $450 million. Then the organization was valued actually at $700 million, in 2003. So it's been estimated around that, and then it says the value of the company, was further estimated, to be $1.5 billion. So, there's a lot of, money in which that was said. And so recently when, he was able to, sell it, the estate was able to sell it, Michael, came off with like $750 million. And this for those who understand that Michael might still be alive, because if you've seen the funeral, you would see a lady who was Michael Jackson's cousin. Michael Jackson was in a disguise as an old white guy with a hat on. All right? And in the clip, the phone rung, and Michael answered it, and his cousin turned around and said, "Michael?" So you
think maybe he could have went underground?
Right. Well, like I said, Barbara Phil Valentine said that Michael Jackson is in Dubai. I had a Hollywood producer to also agree that Michael Jackson faked his death, because there's a clip also of the ambulance in which that was being filmed, and Michael Jackson jumps out the back of the damn ambulance. Now, of course, you don't see his face because he's holding up a coat over the face. But when you think about it, that's the who. Now, if this is the ambulance in which that supposedly had Michael Jackson, why is this ambulance stopped at a door in which that these security people usher him through the door? But yeah, he's supposed to be dead. Isn't he supposed to be taken to the hospital or to the doctor? You know, I mean, aren't they supposed to be doing an autopsy? You know, because I mean, him and Prince both die of alleged drug overdoses.
Right.
You know, the guy in which that kills Michael Jackson got less than 2 years in jail and comes out with millions of dollars.
You know something wrong with that.
There's a guy who just died who said that only a few people knew, and they was paid off in order to fake Michael Jackson's death.
Same thing about Osama bin Laden case.
Well, right. Well, he supposedly had died years ago anyway. But then Obama says that he just killed him.
Never really show any real evidence of them killing this man. They wouldn't really release evidence of the man's body or anything like that.
Right.
So, a lot of us, we're still being fooled by the media. A lot of people, being misled, misconceived. The media does a masterful job at that.
Right.
Of turning people's opinions and how they think. And they want you to see what they want you to see. And want you to believe what they want you to believe that is real. It was really not.
Right. Right. I'm going to find that article. I'm going to find that article in which that shows, that speaks about Michael Jackson faking his death. And it was if I'm not mistaken, it was a bodyguard, so
it's a lot of answers.
Right.
A lot of things need to be explained that's not being explained, or a lot of people think it's being explained. That's how the media does. They could have people, say like in Lebanon somewhere, the so-called, what they call the Middle East, all this disasters and bombings of these people's families and children crying over their loved ones, and that could be right on a Hollywood set.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. That could be made. If you look at the movie Wag the Dog, they'll tell you that.
Right.
Or Forrest Gump.
Right. But that's what, right. This is what we were just talking about, like with Conrad Murray, and, he's the one who provided Michael Jackson with the milk. Allegedly, that's what Michael Jackson referred to the drug in which that, that he needed. Give me more milk. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't that something?
Right. But, and I just read this article just yesterday. I just read this article just yesterday about this bodyguard, who helped Michael Jackson fake his death, and it said that less than 60 people knew, and all them people was paid off. And this correlates, to Prince in a sense because, we come to find out that here it is, Vanity dies, February the 15th, and then, 49 days later, Prince died, April the 21st.
Right, almost right behind each other.
Right, exactly. And right, go ahead, bro.
How did Vanity fail into the state she was in? Whatever happened, she just call herself turning her life to, to Christ and all that,
Right.
But how did she fell to the deplorable state that she was in? And she developed all those different types of illnesses and disease.
Right.
I don't know what that's, maybe she knew too much, or I don't know what that could be.
Right. Well, I don't think it was coincidence because when you look up the number 49, you have, that number correlating to allegedly the Virgin Mary, was 49, during the ascension of Christ. You have the 49 names of Mary. The name of the 12 tribes of Israel contain 49 letters. The prayer of our Father includes 49 Latin words. Buddha remained for 49 days near the tree called Bo. The 7 cosmic planes included 49 underplanes and the 7 races which, according to the Theosophical Society, evolved on a planetary globe, including 49 races. The Zohar indicates that there exists 49 interpretations of writings, and that can even go up until 70 degrees of interpretation. In the Ethiopian apocryphal book, which is called the Wisdom of Sybil, it is question of the 49 cycles of Isra. The magic square using 49, first number is associated with Venus, which is the planet of love. The number 49, is also used in the Bible allegedly 2 times. Is used in the Old Testament to as a verb for crucify, and then in the New Testament for good news. So there's a lot of correlations, with this number 49, in which that just happens to be the number in which that, Prince allegedly passed, 49 days after Vanity. If I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, let me count. Make sure that we are on it here.
Okay.
All right, so help me out, Brother L. February the 15th.
February the
15th. Died. Right, and then April the 21st is when he died.
April Fool's Day, huh?
Well, 21st.
Oh, the 21st.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, 15th of February. That'd be
So that's what, 28 days?
8
days. 29 days. It was 29 days this year, right?
Right.
So that was 14 days, right? 14 days plus March, which is what, 30 days?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's more than that then. So that's 44 plus 21. 44 plus 21 is what?
Would that be 65 days?
Right, 65. So let's go back. All right, so we're talking about actually 65. I was looking at
6 and 5 is 11.
Right, I was looking at Fife Dog death, but I was supposed to be looking at Vanity, so excuse me for that. But let's look at 65. Let's look at 65.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, 65. It says comes up to asking for guidance from the angels. 65 is the message that the angels are with you. It indicates efforts that you have made towards changing your life for better and living your spiritual truth, which has been acknowledged by the angelical or spiritual realms. The angels wish to commend you on your diligence. So that number 65 deals with the with angels. It's a spirit number.
All right.
6 symbolizes stability, love of home, family, protection, care, and nurturing, grace, and gratitude. And then, of course, the 5 symbolizes major change or major life change, motivation, progress, learning lessons through experience, and free will and personal freedom, making an important life choice. So when those two come together, it symbolizes an angelical number. So I don't think that's a coincidence. That that it was just 65 days or so, when that took place. And how it correlates here.
So you still on point?
Right. I read something on Prince. Also that he did a little celebration, or honors, on the death of Vanity. That he was in concert on the night before, when the night of when she passed, and Prince did something in which that he never did, and he got open, and he opened up, on stage about about his private life, and after receiving word that his ex-girlfriend and former, prodigy, Denise Vanity Matthews or Katrina, sadly passed away. He actually he was on stage. I think it was in Australia, and he actually changed up his whole concert to dedicate a large portion to Vanity. He was on with just the piano, and Prince put on a kind of concert that you don't expect to see from a superstar. It was spontaneous and intimate. It was like a little private piano party, with just 2,000 people watching. I think it was at this Melbourne, Australia, and I think it was at the State Theatre. And he said, someone dear to us has passed away. I'm going to dedicate this song to her. Prince said, for playing a touching version of Little Red Corvette with a touch of Dirty Mind songs for the era when they were together. After an encore, Prince returned to stage, noting I'm new to this playing alone. I thank you all for being so patient. I'm trying to stay focused. It's a little heavy on me tonight. Just keep jamming. She knows about this one. They introduced a truly incredible version of The Beautiful One, another song that Vanity during the Vanity era. She was the original choice for the lead in the Purple Rain movie. The song ended with Prince changing my knees for Denise. Can I tell you a story about Vanity, or should I tell you a story about Denise? Her and I used to love each other deeply. She loved me for the artist I was. I loved her for the artist she was trying to be. She and I would fight. She was very headstrong. Of course, she knew she was the finest woman in the world. She never missed an opportunity to tell me that. Prince didn't open up about a fight when he threatened to throw Vanity in the pool. She said, "You can't throw me in the pool. You're too little." He then asked his 6-foot bodyguard, Chuck, to do the dirty work for him. I probably shouldn't be telling this story, but she wanted us to celebrate her life and not mourn her. All right, so Prince goes into the fact that he used to love her deeply. You know, that he used to love her deeply. You know, so some say that dealing with the lungs, if there was the flu, metaphysically that is the sign of depression. You know what I'm saying? And he could still been depressed, over her, and therefore, died because of that. You know what I'm saying? At least this is one of the theories.
Right.
When I spoke with Barbara Phil Valentine, we speculated that Prince could actually have been alive, just like Michael Jackson, that he faked his death. All right? Because it was just strange that he would have died, like you said, in the elevator, being that he never really wanted to use the elevator. So let me go to the phone lines. We got some questions or either comments here. We got area code 614. Area code 614, you're on the line.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
This your man, Brother Insight. I had to call in tonight and support the show, man.
Oh, peace, God. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, God.
How y'all been, man? Everything going good, man?
Good, brother.
Yeah, everything going good.
Good. Give my regards to the Queen, man. Much love and positive energy and thoughts y'all way, man. I had to call in, man. No doubt, fam. Anytime, brother. I had to call in tonight and just share my two cents with the family, man. It's been crazy because I'm a Gemini. My born day is June 5th, 1977, and Prince's born day is June 7th. So, and I'm a musician. I play drums and I sing. And as a musician, growing up in Chicago, right next door to Minnesota, he was always a major influence in my household. As you know, Alim, my pops was a huge Earth, Wind & Fire fan, and that's all you heard in our house was Earth, Wind & Fire and Prince. That was the heavy soundtrack in the late 70s, early 80s growing up in my household. And me being a drummer, I always played both of their music as practice when I would be in the basement of my parents' crib practicing. So I had a certain a level of respect and love and admiration for both of those, for Prince as well as for EWF. When we talk about Maurice transitioning earlier this year as well. But to stick with Prince now.
And he passed 11 days before Vanity.
Right, exactly.
February the 4th. Right.
Yep. So it's just been crazy, man. And Prince's death has been hard for all of us because we grew up to his music, man. You know what I'm saying? His music was our soundtrack growing up in the 80s and 90s, and it's just crazy to see how he went out. This is a brother that lived a pretty healthy lifestyle. He ate no animal flesh. He ate no animal flesh, and now we hear all these rumors about he was a drug addict. And my thing is, if he was a drug addict, how was he able to maintain that type of a secret in Hollywood and in the music industry for over 30 years? Like, somebody would have been out of them, or a rumor would have at least came out. We never heard no rumors of him abusing drugs or anything. We actually heard the opposite of how clean he was, how he ran a tight ship. He didn't allow those types of things around his camp. You know what I mean? Like, he kicked people out of the group that even tried to do those types of things. The same with Maurice White, because Maurice White, you know, was influenced heavily by Sly and Family Stone, and he loved their music, but he always told Verdine and Philip, you know, this band has to be a clean band because we don't want to succumb to the drug and the alcohol use. So you couldn't even be an active member abusing drugs in either one of those guys' camps. So it just baffles me how we fall for the banana in the tailpipe and we allow the American media machine to tell us these lies about our great heroes, man. It's just sad, man. It really is.
And the crazy thing is that I actually heard Vanity say that Prince is the one who got her hooked on drugs. You know, and I'm like, okay, now
that can't be true.
This was years ago, but I think it was just to justify her leaving the entertainment field and going in order to go, you know, have a Christian congregation. You know what I'm saying? But that was allegedly her justification. You know?
Right. And what you said, Alim, is very true, man. I remember as a matter of fact, people can go on YouTube and watch Prince's concert in Australia. He was definitely in Melbourne, Australia when she died, and he got the news right before the concert. And if you watch that concert, the clip, everybody know Prince is very private person, hardly ever talks about his personal life in no capacity. And he opened up that night. He opened up like you never seen him open up. He even wept. You know what I mean? It was crazy the impact that she had on his life. And he started telling stories, as Alim already shared with y'all, about how they had so much love for each other and how magnetic and strong that their relationship was. And for him to die, you know, pretty much 2 months after her was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I'm always going to suspect foul play when you're dealing with these cats, especially Mike and Prince. You know, Stevie Wonder said if Mike was the king of pop, Prince was the emperor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And fam, we gotta talk about these catalogs as you started to talk about earlier.
Right.
We have to talk about these catalogs because, you know, Prince was way beyond his time, man. He was before his time when he was putting slave on his face, and he went to war with Warner Brothers telling them he wasn't going to be a slave. You guys don't own my music. I make my music. I drop albums when I want to drop albums. He was a self-contained artist, went against the machine at the time when it really wasn't popular. You know what I mean? And then, just a year and a half years ago,
that's why they said that
from Warner Brothers.
When they say they opened up Prince Vault, they said they seen catalogs of music in which that would be played for decades.
Yeah, they said he had enough music where they could drop a 10-song album every year for 100 years. That's how much music is in his vault. So he fought against the establishment when it wasn't popular. People thought he was crazy and weird when he was doing that, but he was actually fighting not only for his rights but for all artists' rights, because you should own your music. You seen what happened to a lot of the great blues and jazz musicians and funk musicians who got robbed out of their royalties and their publishing. And you think about it, we talk about this all the time. But Sam Cooke owned his masters, owned his own music. How did he die? Tragically. Otis Redding owned his masters and all his publishing. How did he die? Tragically. You know what I'm saying? You look at Mike and you look at Prince. This is no coincidence, man. Our great artists who own in their own music, in Mike's case, own others' music, and they ended up dying tragically, man. This is a travesty, brother.
Right. I mean, and also, you know, we had Ray Charles, who owned his own masters.
Correct.
You know?
Yep.
You know,
and I want to leave this with the people. I'll leave if you don't mind me reading this, man, so you get to the next call.
No, go ahead. Please.
This was written by Prince like about 8 years ago. I got to find the exact date, but Morris Day posted this on his Facebook page. And this is for people that find it hard or why we get emotional, why we get attached to certain artists dying. We may have never met this person a day in our life, but this was Prince's words about artists and why people have a connection to artists and why, you know, it's tough when they die. And this was Prince's words. For people who don't understand why others mourn the death of artists, you need to understand that these people have been a shoulder to cry on or rock. They've been family, friends, leaders, teachers, and role models. Many have taught us what we need to know and what to do when times get rough. They help us move on. They pushed us out of the bed. They help us live when nobody else had the time to. Artists have inspired us in endless ways and have been with us through stages in our lives. We made memories with them, so when they die, a part of us dies. And those are exact words by Prince, who wrote this about 7 or 8 years ago. So it just goes to show you how powerful and deep this brother was, man. And another thing, real quick, Alim, you're absolutely correct. He was a Jehovah's Witness. Brother Larry Graham, bass player from Sly's band, was the one that brought him into Jehovah's Witness back in 2000. Right. However, Prince started studying other stuff. He got into the esoteric. He got into, you know what I'm saying, the Islam world. He started tapping into these other schools and of thought and started extending his knowledge base. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It was no coincidence that he was on the Tevis Smiley show and he was talking about chemtrails, and he said that the person that he heard this from was Dick Gregory. And you know, you always have Dick Gregory on your show. That's right. And Arlene, and to veggie back off of what you said, I implore everybody to go to Essence, man. Tavis wrote a great piece, man, about Prince. Him and Van Jones talked about how he would give money to different black organizations throughout the country. Like the tour that he was on, Prince and his piano, all of that money was going to youth in Chicago and Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Right. And Tavis talked about how Prince would watch the State of the Black Union, and then after it was over, he would send Tavis money to fly Dick Gregory, Cornel West, you know what I'm saying, to fly all of the panelists back to Minnesota, and they would eat and commune and talk back at Paisley Park about the plight of Black America and things that we could do to help our people out. So the brother was beyond music. He was a deep brother and loved his people, man, and he put his money where his mouth was, unlike a lot of these artists today, man. So salute to the brother. We gonna miss him, you know what I'm saying, and hopefully, you know what I mean, people will understand how huge of an impact he had on this planet the time that he was here. No doubt. And I want you to stay on the line if you can, because we're talking about his, you know, over 35 plus year career. You know what I'm saying? And how he released, you know, 39 solo studio albums and never stopped releasing new material. You know what I'm saying? And actually, he put a new band together, and it was called Third Eye Girl.
Third Eye Girl. Hey, Alim, I got to tell you this. I read this article yesterday, and he was talking about how he put together Third Eye Girl, and I thought it was powerful, and I want you to expand on this. Prince said the reason he put together Third Eye Girl and one of the all-women band, he said because as a man, he said he learns better from women. He said women teach you much more than any other man can teach you. He said so having a band of all women around him at all times, he said musically he went to a place that he had never been in his whole career over the last 4 years since he created Third Eye Girl. You know what I mean? So that to me was very powerful when he was talking about the power and the influence of being around other women.
Yeah, I agree, because that means that he's been listening, you know, to various, you know, teachers such as Dr. Delbert Blair, who we're going to get on next, who also passed this past year. As a matter of fact, he passed January the 31st.
The last day of the month,
8:43 a.m. that morning. You know, so January the 31st, that was just simply 5 days before Maurice White. You know? And actually, 28 days after Francis Quest Welsing. They both died in the same month.
Yep.
Good they did.
You know,
crazy,
so yeah, definitely crazy. You know, but these are the people in which that meant something to us. You know what I'm saying? Maurice White actually wrote me twice when I had my MySpace. Well, I'm still on MySpace, but like I really go there. But when I had my MySpace account before Facebook, before the Facebook, it was MySpace that was popping, and Maurice White will write me and thank me. He wrote me on 2 different occasions thanking me. That means he had my videos in the early 2000s.
Wow.
This was 2002, 2003. And he wrote me. So
wow.
I don't think that's not a coincidence.
Right.
No, and even though he was dealing with Parkinson's, disease, which is the same thing in which that they say that Muhammad Ali has, the same thing in which that they say the dude from Back to the Future, what's his name? Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox.
Right. They allegedly they all have Parkinson's disease, but he's the first to pass from it. That's popular in that sense. Muhammad Ali was in the hospital late last year, and many people thought he was getting ready to pass, but he bounced back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know if he wrote you. I sure didn't.
Yeah. He wrote me and thanked me for decoding the All in All album. One of the most popular songs off of it was Serpentine Fire, for decoding the Serpentine Fire. And teaching the science of Kundalini, what it does, how it interacts with us as melanated people, so forth and so on. And to me, that was very great. And then Baba Phil Valentine was actually with Earth, Wind, and Fire at a concert last year. He got asked to come backstage, and build with the members, of Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think it was last year or maybe the year before last, but it was within the last year and a half or so. So that was something in which that dealt with some esoteric information. That means they've been still watching Baba Phil Valentine's tapes and things like that.
Right, because I remember watching a DVD of Phil. It was a long ago, about in the early 2000s, late 90s, and Phil was talking about how back in New York in the late 70s, early 80s, how they was all at the spot. I think it was called a Tree of Life in New York. It was Iyanla Vanzant, Maurice White, Phil Valentine, like Queen of Four, like all the heavy hitters that ended up being the master teachers in the so-called conscious community was all at that spot, you know what I'm saying? And Maurice was in there soaking up the knowledge and was in there studying with everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And then he would take that information and incorporate it into the music that Earth, Wind, and Fire gave to the world, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that doesn't surprise me at all that he would see your video and shout you out and give you love because you was an extension of that, you know what I'm saying? It's like Phil and Bobby was an extension, and they gave you the baton, and you took it and started running. So he was just big enough in you because he seen that you was carrying on the tradition. You know what I'm saying?
Right, definitely.
Yep.
And I'm thankful for that because, their music helped bring about this change in consciousness, this shift in consciousness, especially when people began to start correlating it to decoding the various stories in these particular books or inspired books, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Spanish eyes, these books, had these keys. And so here these people were putting it into music. Music is universal, and so, that was something in which that when that went out, those seeds was planted, And so we come behind and we take those seeds and we try to harvest them. That's our job. But they did their job. They planted them seeds, via music. And so we just simply came behind and decoded what they already had in the music.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, you know what he was singing about, and you recognize the esoteric meanings of those songs. And all you were doing was just, like you said before, decoding what he was saying.
Right.
There's So I guess he was kind of surprised that you understood the message he was sending.
Right. Probably so, because, I definitely was young, you know what I'm saying? That was, more than 15 years ago. So, that was 15 years ago. So, I was, what I'm saying? I was only 30, so, that definitely was, on some other level, being able to build, interact with members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, via, MySpace at the time. They was the first group to actually contact me, about that, about me understanding that information, So I definitely thank them. That showed me that, like what Brother Insight just said, that they was on that information. And so when you read the lyrics of Fire, it says, "When I see your face, it's like the morning sun, you spark the shine." Right. Yeah. When I see your face, like the morning sun, you spark the shine. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see your face in the morning. Morning sun ignite my energy.
Mm-hmm.
The cause and effect of you being brought new meaning in my life to me. He says, "Going to tell the story and glory, all about the serpentine fire." You know what I'm saying? So these are just some of the lyrics, and these are lyrics in which that when you decode it, it was just like, fascinating, because I'm like, they had a very profound understanding of, of this teaching, and this gave us, like Brother Insight said, there, and you hearing this music being played by, by your parents, by, by friends, family, other family members, aunts, uncles, and so these seeds were being planted already as a child.
Right. And Alim, I'm gonna tell you another joint that was cold-blooded, and I heard Phil Valentine break the song down a long time ago when I was younger, in my 20s, and it messed me up because I knew the song was deep, but I didn't understand the meaning of it when I was a kid, and that was Fantasy, man. Like, that song Fantasy is ridiculous, bro. It's talking about, you know what I'm saying, going into different dimensions. Like, that song is powerful. That's another song people really need to go and sit down and go back and listen to and understand what Maurice was saying when he wrote that song, man. Very, very powerful record, man.
Yeah.
My favorite Earth, Wind & Fire album was the All in All album, but I love that In the Stone as well, because In the Stone was talking about the metal nature and the hieroglyphics and everything that our ancestors left for us to understand who we were, because it's like our ancestors knew the powers that be was going to be in control and would trick us and have us to believe that, we were slaves and we were these, bottom feeder people. But they left our rich history in the stones, not only in ancient Egypt, but here in the Americas as well. You know what I mean? So those type of songs and those types of affirmations through music are blueprints for us on how we should be living our lives, man. And those are the types of songs that we should be flooding our children's eardrums with. It's crazy because I was bringing my sons home from baseball practice yesterday, and I had them listening to Grand Poobah's new album called Black from the Future. You know what I mean? And he's dropping the same type of information in his music that Maurice was talking about. You know what I'm saying? The black man is God and all of these great messages that our children need to be hearing, man. So I implore parents to make sure y'all feeding y'all children the proper food as it pertains to the music that goes into their eardrums, man. For real.
I mean, that's why we got to talk about Silver Black Planet.
Oh, my God. Crazy, Ock.
Yeah. But like I said, a lot of the artists, they know a lot of the sacred sciences, and they didn't start putting them out until they, a little bit before their death, which is mysterious. Prince, Michael Jackson, Maurice White, and they always, and it seems like, it's always like when they wake up to a lot of the occult or the sacred science. I mean, the consciousness of the occult and sacred sciences when they're in trouble. But it seems to go over most of the people's heads. Even on television, you know, deal with a lot of movies and dealing with the Supergirl. Well, for one of the programs on television, if anybody watches it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was saying right. I haven't watched it, but my homeboy was just telling me about that show. That's why I was just agreeing with you. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah, he was dealing with at the end of the season. They had her supposed to have been getting together with this melanated brother, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, the Supergirl, you know, she's the superhero of this program, you know, and then she's dealing with a melanated brother, and she got a melanated brother on her side. That's her sidekick, you know, and her name is Cara Sor-El, you know, which is a Moorish term.
That's right.
You know, and they're constantly dropping it. I know another movie with Samuel Jackson as president when he dropped from his plane. They were trying to kidnap him, and as he fell from the sky, and his capsule landed on, I think it was in the country called Lithuania, I think. I'm not sure. Anybody correct me on that. But he landed on this foreign land, and he knocked on the little boy saw it, knocked on the door, and Samuel Jackson said, you have to push a certain numbers to open the door. And the boy asked him, what is the number? So he said, 1492, 1492. The year the Moors fell. You know, he fell from the sky. His name was President Moore, M-O-R-E, M-O-O-R-E. You know, I mean, they're constantly dropping it, man, in these movies and television programs. But what were you going to say about Supergirl, brother?
And what movie was this?
I forgot the name of that movie. It was Samuel Jackson. He was playing the president of the United States.
Oh, gotcha. Was that wasn't White House Down, was it?
That's what it was. No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. That was with Jamie Foxx. This one with the he was on a plane, and the plane seemed to have engine trouble or something, you know. But it was done on purpose. So they had everybody bail off his plane before they exploded, before it crashed.
Right.
And Samuel Jackson had a certain capsule that he parachuted out in, you know, and landed on this foreign country.
It's called Big Game.
Huh?
It's called Big Game.
Okay.
Big Game.
Yeah, I forgot it. I forgot the name of the movie.
Never seen that. I'm going to see that.
It wasn't a blockbuster, but it came out in 2014.
Yes.
I'm going to go and see that. I never seen that.
I'm about to watch that tonight on my Fire Stick.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, check that movie out. They be dropping it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a young teenager camping in the woods helped rescue the United States president when Air Force One goes down near his campsite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm on that tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And let me say this, Ali. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of these movies has always been dropping the knowledge, man. I'm gonna tell you, these TV shows are starting to do the same as our brother just said, talking about the Supergirl show. And I'm gonna tell you another show that's been going in, and I was talking to my man Minister Inky and some other cats about it, and it's called Limitless.
Oh yeah.
That TV show. That TV show goes hard. Yeah,
it does.
I'm gonna tell everybody right now, go and watch episode 2. I forget the name of the episode. I got my laptop. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute. But the gist of episode 2 is, and this is what made me think about Prince. When Prince died, I automatically thought about this episode. Episode 2, they was giving people a virus, an airborne virus, via the flu. So let's say you're in a coffee shop. In the episode, the person's in the coffee shop getting a latte or a coffee at Starbucks, And when a person turns and gets like a sugar, they spray the coffee with this airborne virus, right? And when the person drink the coffee a day or two, they get what they would normally think is the common flu, right? Or a common cold. So they get the cold, they get the common flu, whatever, and the time goes by and they get over the flu. But what happens is this airborne virus that they've given them starts to mess with their DNA and with their genetics, and it causes them to have brain aneurysms, it causes them to have heart attacks, it causes them to have strokes. When the character in that particular episode ended up having a stroke in his office, and they went back and found out the dude that was on the pill, the limitless pill, went back and found out that he got this virus through this coffee shop when they gave him the so-called flu. And my thing was, in the episode, the dude falls out in his office, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, this is just how they said was going on with Prince. He had been battling the cold or flu for the last 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, 7, 8, 9 days later, he falls out in the elevator and is supposedly dead. That's why I'm really interested to see what the results from this autopsy is going to be, because, one, like you said earlier, Prince didn't even mess with elevators. He had the elevator in the house because that's just how it was built. A mansion that big, you just have elevators. He didn't even ride elevators. He walked all the time. They showed him on his bicycle, riding his bicycle around his neighborhood the last couple days before he passed away. He was very athletic, all-state basketball player in the state of Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Very athletic, always in shape. So the fact that he was on the elevator was the first sign. The second sign, he was battling the cold. Like most vegans, people that stay away from animal products and stay away from dairy, the fact that you're not inputting a whole bunch of mucus-causing foods in your body, it's almost damn near impossible to get a cold. I'm a big dude, and I don't even eat animal flesh or dairy, and I haven't had a cold in 5 years. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that you don't eat animal flesh and a lot of dairy products, it's damn near almost impossible to get a cold or get the flu. But I tell people, go back and watch that episode, and you can see how they killing people just by basically giving them certain strands of the flu. You know what I'm saying? This shit is real out here, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, despite the surprising yet unfortunate death of Prince, a source close to Prince claimed that he had received death threats just days after winning the battle over the rights of his music.
Wow. I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So Prince was so excited, for finally winning the battle with his former, label, which was, of course, Warner Brothers, you know what I'm saying, over the rights to his music, that he threw a little get-together to celebrate the victory. You know what I'm saying? So, some are speculating that this is the reason why he was killed.
And fam, and here's another thing to throw out there. Since we sticking with the topic for tonight, AFENI Shakur just passed away, right? She was in North Carolina with you. She was married to this preacher dude who she's going through a divorce with. This dude is trying to get half of her money, which is all of the Tupac estate, which is what she's living off of. She's in sole possession of Tupac's music and estate after she won all of his stuff back. So now, is her husband going to get her husband that she was divorcing is going to get this music, or is it going to go to Pac's sister, who's the only family member left? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of crazy stuff going on with these artists and the parents of these artists that own this music passing away. Now, we all know if the husband get it, who's the preacher, we already know what he's about. The fact that he's trying to take half of her money and she ain't even been married for him that long, and he knows this is stuff that she accumulated from her son. He's trying to take half of what's hers. So we know if he get it, we already know he's selling it back to Interscope Records. You know what I'm saying? We already know that. It's already a foregone conclusion. So we got to stay on top of this, man, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Indeed it is. And here it is. She just passed May the 2nd, just 2 days ago. And a lot of these artists, they just happen to be from California. She was from Cali. Maurice White was in L.A. At the time. Vanity was in Fremont, Cali. Natalie Cole was in Los Angeles at the time. So it was even Fife Dog, you know what I'm saying, was in California. You know, Costa County, was in California. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I first met Fife Dog in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, he was getting interviewed by the people who was teaching me to be a DJ at WRFG. You know, 89.3. You know, down in community radio down in Atlanta, Georgia, off of 5 Points. You know, and you know, he was a real cool dude. You know, but it said that he died of, you know, diabetes complications, his kidneys fell, so forth and so on. Well, that's the same thing that they said about Vanity, that her kidneys fell. You know, Natalie Cole, they saying that her liver, you know, fell. You know, so these organs, you know what I'm saying, we got to, you know, definitely pay attention to, you know, these organs. You know what I'm saying? You know, and there's certain, you know, breathing exercises, which I won't go into right now, but, you know, we can definitely use in order to stay abreast, you know, of, you know, and stay healthy. You know, like the brother said, one of the things is to try to remove as much toxins as possible. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's certain foods based on your blood type. So whatever the case is, this, you know, we have to remove as much, you know, toxins and poisons to the body as possible. So the brother said, so that we can be strong. You know what I'm saying? And so what's taking place right now, you know? I don't think it's no coincidence, you know, about what's going on here in regard to there's certain alignments too, which that is taking place, you know, which that, you know, we'll get into, you know, probably at a later time. You know, we don't have time to go into all of it here because I do want to go back to the phone line. And I was saying something prior to, like Frances Cress Welsing, she was the inspiration behind Fear of a Black Planet. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And, you know, Public Enemy, you know, did. You know what I'm saying? Years ago. You know what I'm saying? Back in the, you know, early 90s, late 80s. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she was the inspiration behind that. You know, so for those who don't know who Dr. Frances Cress Welsing is, well, the only thing you got to do is just get the phenomenal book, ISIS Papers, you know, and he died of complications from a stroke. And that's no coincidence, you know, that you made mention of one of the ways in which that could happen, you know, Brother Insight.
Yep. But hey, Alim, I got to run, fam. I'm going to stay listening. I'm going to stay listening to Q, man. Good show. And shout out to you and Brother L, man. Keep the good work going, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you, God.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir, God.
Thank you, Walt. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So, like we were saying, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she died around 5:50 a.m. Saturday morning, January the 2nd, from a stroke that she suffered during that midweek. You know, you know that she was born March 18th, you know, 1935 in Chicago, so that made her a Pisces. You know, she was, you know, at Howard University, you know, for a long time, you know, teaching and dropping information. You know, she spent like 20 years as a staff physician for the United States Department of Human Services in Washington, D.C. You know, and so forth and so on. You know, we need to study her life legacy, you know, and what was going on with her, you know, because papers has yet to still be debunked. Many people came out and said, you know, some things about her after she passed, but while she was here, nobody said jack. They couldn't debunk her information, period.
No.
And that's the same, you know, with people speaking about Dr. Derek Blair, you know, and, you know, we know that he passed on the morning of January 31st, around 4:43 a.m. You know, as they say, to catch that great alignment that was taking place. You know him as a metaphysician, a motivational speaker, an expert on terrestrial and extraterrestrial matters alike. You know, he was the founder of the Medicine Center in Chicago. You know, so, you know, these are just some of the great people that we have to investigate and continue doing the works on their behalf. You know, the last person that we want to talk about is probably Natalie Cole. They say that she had liver problems in which that she had hepatitis, but they also say that she had failure caused by some type of rare lung disease. This is what they're saying. You know, we know that she struggled with substance abuse in the past, cocaine, heroin, alcohol. You know, I think it was like around 2008. You know, she developed hepatitis C that was brought about by her drug use. You know, this is just some of the things that takes place. I mean, you're dealing with Hollywood, you know, or Hollywood, as we would ask. So, you know, everybody have their poison, in which that helps them deal with what took place. Some people sell their souls, you know what I'm saying? So to deal with that, they turn towards, you know, like Vanity did towards the church, hoping to, you know, bypass that pledge in which, or, you know, that oath that she took. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Natalie Cole. You know, she probably took a oath, in a sense, being to perform, and being that she grew up in a family of singers, in particular, her father, Nat King Cole, and then she inherited the singing ability years later. You know, so, you know, it's very damaging and detrimental when you do these, when you do these types of bargains, you know, just to reach some type of fame or fortune or so forth and so on. When it's not necessary, you can actually just simply utilize the Book of Psalms, which is actually the hymns of Unction, and magnetize your aura, or practice certain pranayama, magnify your aura, you know, the 6363 breath, the 7171 breath, the empty retention breath. All these things can be utilized in order to magnify yourself without having to sell your soul. You know, so, you know, I don't like when these things take place, you know what I'm saying, because I do know that there is a factor involved in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying. There's just too much information in which that is out on it, you know, and in some ways it's definitely going beyond, you know, speculation. Let me just say that. All right, so let me go back to the phone lines. We're going to go back to the phone lines. We're going to go to area code 973. Area code 973 on the...
Peace, everyone. Peace, Alim. This is Tova.
Peace, Tova. What you got for you got something.
It's so great to hear your voice.
Oh, thanks, God.
Wow. I've been really conscious of my breathing throughout this whole time because, like, I'm feeling this hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is deep.
Right.
There's a whole. I've been like, you know, I know that if Michael Jackson or specifically Michael Jackson, if he is like what people saying, like, the quote unquote alive, like I just had this epiphany where it's like, wait a minute, we have to think in another way, like, because he was super multi and interdimensional, you know, and like I'm trying to understand it because we have to see it at a whole another metaphysical level, because they may be like, because you know, when I was certain things, when the Kali thing, when Kali and the whole that, and I realized I even have it in my name. I heard Tupac, like I could hear him like laughing almost. Like I was like, whoa, like if you're not in a body, then you're definitely like in an interdimensional place where I can hear loud and clear. And okay, check this out. This is it. It has the word ISIS in it, and the ISIS papers and Francis Welsing. And this is it. Was the last album, right? That Michael put out.
Right.
It has ISIS in it. This is ISIS and the ISIS papers. So this is all something else. And this was just shown to me while I was listening and taking in everything. All the wisdom y'all been dropping. But okay, so this is also an elemental thing because we're during the whole start month of February, where they named it the Black History Month, but really, like, it's Black History Month for them, for Hollywood, for real. It's the shortest month of the year, and they have leap years, right? What's up with the leap years? Leap spells, they have the word ape in it, and also tail. That's both tail and ape, and it's all right there, right? So This is deep because, like, during the age of Pisces, the way that they were taking us out was through fire. And now they're putting us in the water and they're suffocating us, and everybody's saying, I can't breathe. That's what they're saying. Like, they're taking over all the elements now. This is real, like, crazy. And it's still, like, I don't even know for the words. I'm still trying to understand all of this because it gets even deeper. You know, Hurricane Katrina has everything to do with this, and they've been doing this for so long. It's like all these rituals are able to do this. New Orleans has so much to do with this because they have that ritual.
Middle name is
it's crazy.
Right, and Vanity's middle name is Katrina.
What?
Yeah.
This is just like they're saying it right in front of us, you know, and you're right, these are triggers. We already had it in our minds because this is, you know, when we heard certain sounds and words, because those are frequencies and sounds. And, you know, like, I was telling Queen Kadira, peace and love to Queen Kadira as well. I was telling her that that whole thing with, I just lost my thought because I just lost my thought with that. What was I saying before that? Because I was, like with those rituals, you know, that in the dome where they were like going on shooting sprees, the cops were shooting everybody and handing out condoms during war, like during like a floods everywhere. Who the hell's gonna be getting it on during that time? This is so crazy. So that woke up the spirits there. And they're risen. But this is crazy with the Michael Jackson thing. What's up with Brandon? I saw something like he had a son named Brandon. I saw some YouTube videos of him. He does look just like him. I guess there was a secret son. It may be something just like, you know, because there's so much crazy and confusion and fuckery that you have to like really get through that. And then I realized like, wow, we have to change the whole way of thinking. So this is all elemental, and I'm still trying to understand like what the whole point of doing these things, but the signs are right there. It's all a pattern. It's in our faces. And about the catalogs, well, cattle is the sheep, right? And the cow is the sacred cow. And then the logs, that's, you know, and Beals spells slave, and logs are the trees. You know, like, this is all on and from the earth up to the, like, ethers. This is on all levels, and they are alive, and they're allowed in the ethers, all of them, Prince, Whitney, all of them. So what we're doing right now, you know, this is honoring them, and the silence is getting louder and louder. So we're finally at the point where we're coming together with this information that we've been breaking and building on. And I love you, Dr. Ali. I'm so happy you're here, and peace to all the family. I'm kind of lost for words right now because I'm just, you know, like feeling like I'm in that place where, you know, you go through the chambers, and I'm at the place where it's just like overwhelming because I'm just like, wow, I can't even like, you know, I have to like digest and reflect upon this. But I love you all, and
right.
To you all, and
love you, guys.
You know,
but we appreciate you for calling in and giving your insight. Thank you.
Thank you too, Ali. Peace.
Okay, and Tova just spoke about the fact that some of these things that have been taking place. Well, I just find it strange that the Rain County Sheriff Department, the deputies and firefighters responded to a few responding to the houseboat in Sausalito of California. It says Monday night after she fell ill and suffered a suspected heart attack. Police said. So the heart attack was suspected, but they also said that at this point there's nothing to indicate to us that there was any foul play, nothing suspicious about this other than this being sadly a natural event. About Marine County Sheriff Lieutenant Doug Pittman. Right, so the paramedics arrived around 9:30 p.m. and Shakur was rushed to the Marine General Hospital, where she was treated for about an hour before she was pronounced dead, according to Pittman. The autopsy was scheduled for Tuesday, which was yesterday. All right, so allegedly she suffered a suspected heart attack. All right, so this is what is being said. It's just a lot of stuff going on, Brother Al. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just keeping ourselves in the loop. And also, Natalie Cole's death, actually brought it on. You know what I'm saying? Hers was December the 31st, 2015, but, it was going into January the 1st. So we add her up into the mix for that. In a sense, she kicked it off. Some say that Francis Welsing kicked it off January the 2nd. But it's going on now. Nearly every month, we're losing someone great here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're talking about February, March, April. You know what I'm saying? We've been losing people. You know what I'm saying? So some say that this is to make room for the new. For those in which that is coming into consciousness or music. There's new things in which that has to occur now. Whatever the case is, that these things have taken place. I think Maurice White was 74. Frances Wells, and she was 80. Dr. Deborah Blair, she was in her 70s. If I'm not mistaken. Amy was 57. Prince was 57. Phife Dawg was 45. I think Natalie Cole was I think she was in her 60s. So
makes you think who's next.
Right. Well, they say that Little Richard isn't doing very well, brother, and that he might be next.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think
Natalie king of rock and roll, huh?
Right. I think Natalie Cole was 65, but that's who they said might be next to go is Little Richard, who also gained back his masters or catalog, and Michael Jackson gave it back to him. Inshallah, God forbid, or whatever the case is, what I'm saying? But this is just what has been said is that he is not doing very well.
Okay, I didn't heard of that.
Right, hopefully he'll make a comeback, like Muhammad Ali did, and keep things popping. We got area code 864 on the line.
Hey, Hotel, peace and love, brothers.
Peace, dog.
Peace.
Hey, I was just chiming in, and I was just I had chimed in when you guys when we were speaking about Prince and and also Michael Jackson. And this is the thing, I'm not sure if you guys have brought it up as it relates to the esoteric nature in a lot of these events that we see. Whether it be, I heard the possibility of maybe Prince faking his own death. But I think even as the family has described tonight, showing that he and also Michael Jackson were two of the few liberated artists that we see.
Right. And see, in order to get out them contracts, them so-called satanic contracts, which that they might have been, might have also signed, the best way or the thing in which that to do is to fake it and get from up under. We have Tupac, Machiavelli, we have Michael Jackson, we have Prince, in which that is, all three have been said to have faked their deaths. We don't know for sure, that is the case, but there are clues on which that we're seeing, which that, those clues can equate to that definitely have taken, has taken place.
Absolutely. And, you're absolutely right. And also, I kind of look at what we saw happen to, I'm not sure how many on the line are familiar with the Pimp C affair, but we do know that Pimp C was one of the few African, the hip-hop artists that was basically standing up, talking against a lot of crap that was going on inside the hip-hop culture. He started to call people out because they were over-promoting the usage and the selling of drugs. I think he was actually pointing the finger at Young Jesus for him calling out these fired and fake drug prices. And what you saw, he also started saying that he was going to call out a lot of homosexuals and things of that nature, with him actually being one of the best in the game. And then he mysteriously died. Even what we see happening to Old Dirty Bastard. And even we have things like the hip hop police. We have things, these actual agencies like the Cartel Pro, where they're actually looking for like the Messiah type black man. So they want to put a stop, even as it relates to Michael Jackson or Prince, sending a message to the other young entertainers. Hey, you can own your own. You can own your own. You can get your own. This is not a message that they want to send out of liberation to the other young artists. So this is something that I see that they're probably trying to squeeze a message and diminish a message, and also, because they do have high science, they have some high technology that I'm not sure we all aware of. But there are some things that they can do. So I really do feel like we are at a place where we don't really know, but these are the things that Prince did die around the full moon. That was full moon. So we talking about ritualistic, parameters on these events. Even as we're talking about AFENI Shakur, she's probably most popularized for Tupac's song, Dear Mama. And this strange occurrence that she died the week of Mother's Day. You understand? So, we look at this, and we know us as Africans, we always had a high knowledge of how to utilize juju or voodoo or particle magic, as they call it. So we do see, these Europeans sometimes using the same magic against us. Even with the Whitney Houston and, even in her daughter transitioning. And with Whitney Houston being a great voice of the 80s, black voice of the 80s, Prince was a great black voice of the 80s, and also Michael Jackson was a great black voice of the 80s. They're all gone. They're transition, as we're talking about James Brown. James Brown definitely taught us how to feel good about our black culture. These are basically people that are going on in transition. But it does also make me feel bad, brothers, that sometimes
Ray Charles and James Brown both died at the age of 73.
Okay. And even from what I saw of some of Ray Charles, he kind of had a pro-black, somewhat of a pro-black stance, where he, you know, even Whitney Houston, they weren't like the lay down, easy type of entertainers. They were ones that would kind of stand up and say what was on their mind, just as Tupac. And, you know, the system doesn't want anybody that's not compliant. You know, they don't like you when you're not compliant and when you're going to talk back. So these are the ones that they definitely have to remove. But I also want to bring our attention close to African Bambaataa. I don't know if we brought that up, but we also, as it relates to us feeling a certain way of entertainers, you understand? And we might feel that they are doing a certain thing and they're putting out a certain music. Remember Planet Rock. You know, this was opening up the way of hip hop. Now it said when his bodyguard is coming out saying that he molested hundreds, over like 100. He had hundreds some cases.
Right.
So how many things are, I think we still evaluating things. But a lot of times, I heard you say something about our ancient culture and going into different. I think you guys are talking about going into different schools. But I think what we should learn from our ancestors is how to cultivate ourselves and able to, you know, deliver an art that's functional for us as black people and as builders. You know, so I just wanted to kind of bring that out. A lot of times we feel so good about some artists, and then we find out, well, damn, they peeing on kids. And, you know, I heard some people say, well, hey, I don't have anything to do with their personal life. You know, I like their music, and that is the thing that we definitely have to remove ourselves from. Because I don't think, you know, that's me.
You know, KRS-One said something similar to that, and so people are camel backing up off of, you know, or veggie backing up off of, what he said. But the thing is, it's either yay or nay. You know what I'm saying? If this happened, this has to be brought up into a court of law. There has to be lawsuits in which that is taking place. You know, then we can give some type of analysis. Until then, it's rumors, and anyone can be paid off. You know what I'm saying? In order to say anything. I had an FBI agent just to tell me a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, that once you have a following of about 100,000, they'll come after you. You know what I'm saying? We know that the Zulu Nation is in nearly every state and throughout the world. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a large portion. And plus, BAM was getting ready to do a free Dr. York, drive or, concert or fest, some type of celebration type of thing. And right before he did that, or getting ready to announce it, this took place. So the question I asked was, why now? And that is the answer which that we got back. You know what I'm saying? Was because they was getting ready to try to free Dr. York once again, and put a spotlight on it. Dr. York is said to be in a wheelchair, and that that he's not right-minded right now. You know what I'm saying? Much. That's what he said. Once again, we don't know exactly what's going on, but know that the man is in the super maximum security prison. In the basement or underneath, the building. At least that's what they have said. I know that also some Nawapian members told us that they was working on trying to free him from out of that supermax prison and try to get him, to somewhere in which that is much more comfortable living or a type of environment. In another prison out of that state of Colorado into another state, because right now he's in there with mass murderers. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I wasn't in his bedroom. I wasn't in Bam's bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say what happened. You know what I'm saying? Their souls will have to deal with the consequences and the actions in which that took place. If they did what they did, they're going to have to ask for forgiveness in some shape, form, or fashion. whether it's from the victims or whether it's from their higher selves or souls, as we would say. There has to be some type of forgiveness. It can't keep being in denial. That's the thing about this. About, what I'm saying, or Dharma. It has to be, it has to be spoken in some shape, form, or fashion in order to help alleviate it in some, in some form. So, hopefully, Ben will come forth, and I know he already made a statement on the Ed Lover show, in which they stated that those allegations are completely false, that it's a smear campaign, blah, blah, blah. However, there's more and more coming out every day, saying this, so you just have to be able to put things in perspective. And I know Ben personally, and he always supported us, and so, that's the side that I've seen of him. I've never seen the sexual side of Afrika Bambaataa, so I can't speak on that. I can only speak on the side in which that I've seen personally. And that side in which that I've seen personally is that of a great man, someone who is trying to be spiritually in tune or striving towards that, someone who knows quite a bit of information, who has knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and put something together in which that could be utilized for decades and generations to come. Will this destroy him if this is true? I believe that it would definitely have damaging properties to it. But will it destroy hip hop? No. Hip hop is already dead. That's why we have so many black rappers out today. The thing is that for those in which that no real or true hip hop is to bring it back, and institute, levels of appreciation for those who were the founders, for those in which that helped bring it to the forefront, and that's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? Brother L, you got anything on it?
Yes, you said that true hip hop is dead, and you're right. You're seeing so many European rappers today than more than ever. The thing about another thing, Malachi Z. York, I heard that he really don't want to come out of prison or something like that. He want to stay in solitary because he feels that he's safer in there than he is out here. Now that's some of the rumors I heard.
Okay.
So I don't know what's your take on that, but that's some of the rumors I've been hearing. Another thing that dealing with a lot of these people that been passed, to transition this year.
I mean, what they do to prisoners, who has that type of charge against them, is to get molested themselves, by prisoners. So I understand that ideology in a sense.
Yeah, that's what this the rumor's going around,
Right.
So
all right, we got our last call. We got our last call for the night. We got area code 973. Area code 973. Okay, we got one more. Peace.
Peace, guys. This is Toba again. I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wait, hold on. I have it written down because I'm writing a bunch of stuff down. There's okay. The whole thing with Mama AFENI Shakur, okay? We know that the Shakur, they're reincarnated ancestors. We all know that. But Asada, she's in Cuba, which is the cube, like Cuba, which is Ku pyramid, and that's us. And then and Ba Sol, so that's a Stargate right there. And they can't touch her. So they went after the mom. They definitely went after. I feel her presence, the absence of her presence, also so strong that, especially during tourist season, the cow and the bull and the ox and the oxygen, right? They're taking away the mama. You know, Mama's just a little girl, that song. Like, Tupac is like, you know, that is the mama, and he has the mama anthems. So I just had to say that. And another thing, this is just like, you know, I didn't get this from anywhere. This is kind of just like, you know, from the channeling from what I'm experiencing. But Michael Jackson and Prince and Whitney, they were loved, and they loved us, and they loved the family, and they, you know, and the ancestors and their art. And there's nothing worse to an artist to live an inauthentic life. So if they're faking their death or doing something like that, it's I just keep on hearing flat note. Like, no, that's not what it is. They're so present and alive still because they've given so much that they're pretty much an etheric body.
Okay. We appreciate
love you all.
For that.
That's all. I just wanted to.
Thank you, guys.
You know,
appreciate you, God.
It's an honor. Bless and love to everybody.
Peace.
Okay, we got area code 410. Area code 410, you're on the line.
Peace, prosperities, abundance to everybody on the panel. Everybody listening.
Peace, God.
Hey, what's going on, brother Alim, man? I mean this, man. It's good hearing you again. It's good hearing you again, brother.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Just to make it brief before the show end, I'm glad you cleared up about that. African Bambaataa, unfortunately. I mean, but like on a mundane level, this ain't nothing really deep, but like I got to kind of side with Professor Griff was saying about, if you, this all speculation is kind of still, but if you didn't do it, why do you even need to bring up legal reinforcement? You know what I mean? Like I understand what kind of society we live in, but
right. Well, defamation of character is one of it. Slander is one. So I mean, that could be the reason. But once again, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to downplay the victims. If they was victimized, you know what I'm saying, they need some type of justice. There has to be some type of repercussion. You know what I'm saying? I know that red pill and blue pill from the no ledge. They was on YouTube, and I know these two brothers, and they was calling for Bam to come forward. You know what I'm saying? And, squash the rumors. If it's a rumor, if not, you know what I'm saying, talk to the people. That's why they have their radio show, so forth and so on, or why they have their production company, media, is to be able to, have, those in which that are getting slandered to come before the people so that it won't continue, you know what I'm saying, so that people can have an alternative news media as compared to what is going on, because they are slandering Bam in New York like crazy. My wife and I was just up there last month, and every newspaper was slandering Bam, was hitting Bam. You know what I'm saying? Bam to pervert Bam. Just going on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he did make a statement on the Ed Lover show, but there has to be more statements made if that is the case.
Right.
Yeah, because that kind of threw me off a little bit when Griff said the first allocation he heard years ago, like, whoa, what you mean?
Yeah, well,
the first one.
I heard, once again, I heard the rumors, you know what I'm saying, nearly 10 years ago myself. But once again, I was not in any, you know what I'm saying, with Bam personally, you know what I'm saying, with anything like that jumping off. So I can't speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I've heard that Bam was never married. He didn't have a girlfriend. I can't speak on those things per se that leads towards, you know what I'm saying, homosexuality or pedophilia.
Right.
I can't necessarily say that's what that is. You understand what I'm saying? So I won't do a show on that level of trying to bash the brother. You know what I'm saying? If he did it, he needs help. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a sickness in which that needs to be rectified.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he did it, then he do need counsel in order to stop the slandering and stop the the things in which that is being said. So either way, you know what I'm saying, there has to be some type of professional treatment.
Right. And, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, that got to deal with his spirit, and so the things that he got to find retribution, and whatever it is,
right.
But yeah, let me ask you this though, brother, about the Prince, Michael Jackson, and a bunch of others. Is it me, or I was watching after 2011, 2012ish. Maybe this is when it probably was happening long before that, but it just seemed like nobody can die anymore from just average dying, natural causes. Now let me just say this straight up. I know there's mad corruption in the spotlight. When you get into that upper echelon in the music industry, we know we already know, but it just seemed like nobody can die anymore. Everybody had an Illuminati death. Everybody.
Right. But
yeah,
actually, that's what's going on. I mean, every time someone passes, you got a Illuminati video going up on YouTube, and saying that the reason why they died and so forth and so on. This the numbers that correlates to that, and you know what I'm saying. They don't never really look at for example, they said Prince died because it was part of a ritual done by the Queen of England.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, cause trust me, with the masters, African, quote unquote African American getting rights to the masters, that's a big deal. That's a real big deal.
Right.
And we know about the economic hitman group or whatever they call them.
Right. You still here, bro?
No, I'm here.
My bad. My phone just cut off. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
right.
know about
economic.
Yeah, and it just seemed like everybody's Illuminati clone, or Illuminati death, or they got cloned.
Right.
So, I mean,
right.
If they clone Michael Jackson, like it's being said, they got a damn good cloning system that has somebody dance that good. I don't care.
Right.
So I just wonder what your thoughts on that was.
Indeed. And of course we know that there was many imitators, but there's only one original. And of course many want to say that it was after his brush with death with the fire, where his head got burnt and things, and he had to have reconstructive surgery and so forth and so on. That's when they replaced him. You know what I'm saying? I've heard all these things. I don't get into it because what I noticed is that with all this Illuminati conspiracy things, that a lot of people go crazy.
Right.
And that becomes their only focus. And that's all they talk about. But I've been knowing about this Illuminati thing and did tapes on it, over 25 years ago.
Right.
Dr. York brought us into that information when he introduces to a person by the name of Todd Collins. John Todd, his name is John Todd or John Collins. who actually was a member of the Illuminati and a high appointed satanic witch, warlock, as they say. And anybody can go to YouTube and actually hear some of the things that he spoke about. And John Todd, or John Collins as he was called, is the individual actually in the 70s during the time of during the, I think it was like the mid 70s, during the time when Jimmy Carter was president, that he was getting, deep and going around the country, to various churches, dropping information on the Illuminati, and he mysteriously disappeared. Allegedly, he was put in jail into a crazy house, by Strong Thurman in South Carolina at one time, and he was there for some years and then mysteriously disappeared. And then, right after him came, I don't even know why the Illuminati does this, because there's always another head that raises up in which that teaches information for years. Because the next person right after him was, that was in the 70s going into the 80s. And right in the early 90s, late mid 90s, was a person by the name of Fritz Springmeier. And Fritz Springmeier, they put him in a crazy house, but he got out. I think he was on Alex Jones' show for a minute. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he might still be alive. All right. Matter of fact, I can check that out right quick. But he also taught on Illuminati and what they're doing and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of information. Let me see here. Because that was his whole goal, was actually exposing the Illuminati. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like he's still alive. So, he made it out the crazy house. But that's what I'm saying, is that this type of information, when you focus on it, it makes you go crazy. They'll put your behind in a crazy house. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case is. But that's what he is. He's a white, a pale right-wing conspiracy theorist, author. You know what I'm saying? And if you read his books, the 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati, these books are thick, like encyclopedias. Matter of fact, they bigger than encyclopedias, like damn dictionaries.
Yeah, like a telephone book.
Right, telephone book. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And he goes in detail about each family, names and everything. And I'm like, good gosh, I ain't heard this many names since Steve Coakley.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
So, right. So, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say, I got to bring that up too, brother. Let's go there. Some people were saying Steve Coakley was cloned at the
oh my God! Come on.
I know, man. at the the Million Man March, he was a little too extroverted, putting out flyers and getting people to sign a list to join the march, and people was, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I knew Steve Coakley. You know what I'm saying? I less than 2 weeks prior to his passing, which was April 11th. You know what I'm saying? I spoke to Steve. I sent Steve money in order to help him. So that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Steve was still Steve. Steve went through some dramatic things because he had to deal with his family that was partly in Washington, D.C., which he had to get hell out of, and someone go underground, but he went to California, to Los Angeles area, in order to help with his father. You know what I'm saying? So I knew Steve before, when he was living You know what I'm saying? Right after he left Chicago and he was living in D.C., and I knew Steve after he left D.C. and went to California. All right? I knew Steve before he went into the hospital. I knew Steve after he went to the hospital. Okay? So none of that is true. I can say that personally.
Right. Okay.
You know? But once again, this is what happens when you take Bobby Hemmings' information and you go overboard with it. Because the first person to even talk about cloning in the conscious or so-called black community was Bobby Hemmings. And I was in the class. I was at that class, at that lecture when he did so. And none of us went crazy or overboard with it. We thought it was very interesting concept. You know what I'm saying? That now has been added into the mix that we had to explore and look at. But ain't none of us go out talking about, oh yeah, oh nigga, you a clone.
Right. Just going bananas with it.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
They used to call it a clone just because the brother got a little muscular, he a clone now.
Right. But that's what's going on. You know? I mean, just like what they did with Fritz Springmeier, you know what I'm saying? They could have said he was a clone. I think it was in 2002. They got him in a connection with an armed robbery and found him guilty. You know what I'm saying? And sent him to like 51 months in prison. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I think he was in prison, and he was just released from federal prison on March 25th, 2011. You know? You know, but the books in which that, like we said, the Bloodlines of the Illuminati, thick books, deeper insight into the Illuminati formula, the Illuminati formula used to create an undetected total mind control slave. You know what I'm saying? These are, you know, are his works. You know what I'm saying?
All right, then let me wrap up my question with this one. Then that was something you added on about the I didn't know this when you added on about the FBI agent said around 100 to 200,000 following. Like we know they take out leaders, but I didn't know it was that number. And if we know our reality is basically predicated on our projections, our thought process, you know, and this new concept they got, quantum physics, but basically African way of life. You want to throw all these names on it, metaphysics stuff. But if we know we create reality, is it even possible?
Right.
No, I was gonna say, is it even possible to be in the spotlight, to be in that the movies, the music? Is it even possible to be in that spotlight and put out a word like put out a word like Brother Fit, Bobby? Can a person even be in that type of stage?
Look, now I'm gonna tell you what Bobby said. Bobby said, "Don't join any group and don't be part of any group." Basically, what he meant by that is that he understood that if there was a certain amount of people who comes together, it would be some type of betrayal, and it would also be some type of imprisonment or either death itself. That's what happened with Malachi York for, you know what I'm saying, for years. I remember him saying, "What you're going to do when they come after me?" And everybody was like, "What you mean? Who's going to come after you? What happened? What's going on?" Well, in 2002, they came after him. And he told us that he only had 30 years. You know what I'm saying? That was from the 1970s until 2000. That was 30 years. So he was running just a little bit over time. You know what I'm saying? So by 2002, they caught him. You know what I'm saying? It could be trumped up charges. I don't know. I wasn't in the bedroom. Some say that he lost discipline of himself. You know what I'm saying? But if that was the case, once again, people listening to Brother Bobby Hemmings' information and not understanding that there's two paths. There's the left-hand path, there's the right-hand path. When you're dealing with Tantra is the left-hand path. When you're dealing with Kriya Yoga, that is the right-hand path. My teacher, Sunyata Saraswati, combined both paths, which is Tantra Kriya Yoga. So dealing with both paths, you know what I'm saying, you understand what is going on much more better than just following just one path by yourself. So you have some niggas who come out, I'm the dark side. And then you have some, oh, I'm a light worker. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is the thing. No, you both. You're melanated and you have a soul inside of you, which is the spark of God. That's all that means. You're able to transition from the conscious plane into the subconscious plane. Stop before that nonsense that you dark side is and you light worker that. You know what I'm saying? You're not the one thing if you're melanated. You're all of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, right, so this is what we have to get back to understanding of. You know what I'm saying? Right now, there's a lot of people not. That's why my wife put that information out. You know, of the speech of the talk between me and Brother Bobby Hemmett. You know what I'm saying? Because Brother Bobby Hemmett on the phone goes in and says, you know, all these guys that we've been, you know, dedicating ourselves to, and you know what I'm saying, and did nothing for him, and so he said, F the God. You know what I'm saying? So now that changed the whole paradigm for everybody who was listening to Bobby over the last, 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I know Bobby longer than that. I met Bobby back in 94, 95, and he was already lecturing for 2 years then. You know what I'm saying? Since 92. You know, so, you know, we just have to come to some realization of what we need to do as a people and get the best parts that you can from each of the lecturers. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Deborah Blair, you know, Alayhi Salam, who just passed on, you know, and the others, you know what I'm saying, that are still here. Baba Phil Valentine, Brother Bobby Hemmett, you know, Brother Hakeem Bey, you know, the masters, the master teachers that are still here. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to do. You know, that's what I did, you know, in the early 90s, you know, late 80s. You know what I'm saying? Was tap into all these great masters. Ashwa Kwesi, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Amos Wilson, Bobby E. Wright, Francis Cress Weldon, you know, Ivan von Sertima, Naeem Akbar. So these are all my teachers. You know what I'm saying? That I studied in the 80s and the 90s. You know, so then, of course, Baba Phil Valentine came, Deborah Blair, Hakeem Bey, Brother Bobby Hemmett. You know what I'm saying? Not only, you know, did I learn from them, I also became their acquaintance and also their friend. You know, as I've, you know, spoken and been in their, you know, physical space, you know what I'm saying? We seeing each other eye to eye, you know what I'm saying, and talking and building on many occasions. You know what I'm saying? In particular, me and Brother Bobby Hemmett, as I used to ride him around in Atlanta, Georgia, when I moved down there in 94, going into 95. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's the one who actually told me that I need to be doing this. Getting to this information and getting this information out to the people. He said, man, if there was more people that was doing what we was doing, man, shoot, man, we'd be up out of this in less than no time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, and I said, yo, you're right, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? I definitely agree. You're right. I need to, you know what I'm saying, definitely do this. And that's what I was saying to my mom. Next thing I know, I'm giving classes in Atlanta. Now, even though I was already giving classes before, I thought by me moving, you know what I'm saying, I'd be free in order to, you know, just live life and not have to, you know, deal with this, you know, these conscious people. You know what I'm saying? But no. The ancestors have another plan. Their plan was to make sure that you continue doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's not much, you know what I'm saying? We are in a world of an illusion, so it's about picking out the best parts that you can for yourself in this illusionary world and utilizing it to make you the best that you can become. That's all it is. All right? Brother L, you got any closing comment?
Well, I enjoyed tonight. I enjoyed talking, being on the Blog Talk Show. We haven't been on it for a while, so
right.
I guess we just keep up the good work.
I'm glad that you came on and that you was here right on time as usual. And I appreciate you checking this out and saying, okay, word, okay, that he having it tonight. He's here. And
right.
Yep, we're here.
Always check.
Right. Well, I'm glad you did. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, God.
All right. We getting ready to go, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us on the First World Order Radio once again. We'll be back next week, all right, with something hot and new. Matter of fact, we got some videos that's coming out. We got the Blow documentary that we just finished doing. We just finished interviewing Baba Phil Valentine. We just finished interviewing the goddess Slawburn. So we added to the collection. So we're thinking by August we will have Blow documentary out. Of course, Blow is dealing with the breath of life, human consciousness. So just check us out when we bring that out. Hopefully by August. And we're talking about by August. By Marcus Garvey's birthday in August. I think that's August the 17th. So hopefully we'll have it out by then. If not, keep us on track as much as possible. All right. Also, we're doing free lectures now for a time period. So for those that were trying to get me to a lecture, all you have to do is just put forth the funds for the travel expense and for the hotel accommodations, and we'll come. No honorary is included. That's the free part. So just bring us out to your area. We're going to try to get in as much information as possible. So check us out. Now, for those that want to contact us, go to www.dralimel-bey.com or go to the Gmail. That's Royal House. That's ROYAL House, HOUSE 777 @gmail.com. All right. That's Royal House 777 @gmail.com. For those that want to bring us out for lectures, you can also go to the website, like I said, to calendar of events, however you need to contact us. Number 910-364-9099. That's 910-364-9099. Contact us, and we'll come on out. All right? All right. Peace to everyone. Love y'all.
Peace. Love you. Peace.
I don't need to be a dope boy, my poetry is dope enough. Trapping interstellar while my third eye open up. See through all the lies that y'all tellin' with a straight face. Return of the luminous ones. Y'all better make way to find a chapter. Find a collapse on all you politicians. They politicking how to lead a world, no pot to piss in. The way I think is more deep and in the Grand Canyon. I guarantee this black man would be the man standing. My premonition matched the Olmec calendar. It's always accurate like a lightweight challenger. For all you wicked witches and the Wizard of Oz, you and that man behind the curtain, yeah, y'all fixing to fall. Only a matter of time before shit hit the fan. Here's an idiot's guide for you on how to get a man. I don't need a bunch of homers to ride or die with me. I can call on Hey Roo to fly the skies with me. Going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. When I'm riding on this city streets, never really miss a beat. To the point of no return, unless I turn another cheek. Catch me on my daily vibe, smooth as I wanna be. Just being me, never chilling with the wannabes. God in the flesh, dated bad sister lectures. Because my history is more than they can understand it. My melanated skin, star brush from the astro. I'm made of dark energy created from myself, the only one you can lean on. I got some scoopers that y'all can break y'all weed on. Our here's Martin Luther King and slave ships, but what about the underwater cities and spaceships? My mystical mind, we had the government covering, but if the old man will fly away like a mothership, where African people were the real Anunnaki, wearing feathers on their heads, just a few feet taller than me. Through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. Yo, don't look at me the same, I ain't nothing like I used to be. Upgraded daily through the lies and all the foolery. My dream became lucid, I travel back in time, collecting life data for my subconscious mind. That father let me know that anything is possible by pulling down the universe through my crown chakra. Manipulate the energy is all an illusion. Knowing who you are kills all the confusion. While 85% judge off my appearance, I use alchemy to create the world potential. My lyrics turn divas right back into queens. While dope boys will think twice, appearing back on the scene. Everybody gone mad, blaming media outlet. The new black Hollywood, chosen straight out of projects. Homo agenda war, sucking up to the master, while the whole community going up in disaster. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth.